Here we are back in the shop, and today we're going to talk about aluminum. Yeah, people know aluminum cans and they see it and they don't think it's worth anything, but I tell you what, if you do the e-waste like I do, you're going to come across a lot of various different kinds of aluminum. They're all going to have their different value and their different costs and their different time to take apart and separate. But I tell you what, on a majority, if you separate that copper out of your aluminum heat sinks, they're going to up their value. I'm going to talk about extruded aluminum because you come across a lot of that in your e-waste. You also come across some plate aluminum and sheet aluminum, whatever your scrapyard calls it. And also, yeah, I know everybody's going to see these and they say they're not worth it. But I tell you what, in some places like this one is worth 5 cents per can. Michigan, Oregon, they're worth 10 cents. 10 cents a dime in American money for that can, one state over. That's right. Where I live, it doesn't have that. They pay by the pound. But I tell you what, I've collected almost 1,000 pounds over the summer. So that sure does add up. The price varies on the pop cans, and some places don't even want you to crush them. So you check out your scrapyard and figure out what they're going to do for you there. This is sheet aluminum, or whatever you guys call it in your scrapyard. It is definitely not extruded. You will find them around all your heat sinks, like this guy here, and you will go and magnetrons and everything else, you're going to find that everywhere. Well, how are you going to get that off to get that copper off of there? Well, I tell you what, I took one of these guys, I heated up the bottom of it, popped that little plate off of there, just easy peasy, took my torch, heated it up for a minute. Yeah, it's going to take a second because it's designed to absorb heat. But as soon as I popped that thing off, the two ends came out of there, easy peasy, just like that, and I broke them off. And then what did I do? Well, I took these plates, and these plates were attached, and I literally just wiggled them off. So in turn, I was able to up my profit. Now this turns it in from copper aluminum radiator, dirty aluminum. In fact, I would be trying to put this in as dirty copper, but I doubt your scrapyard's going to let you do that. In fact, they're probably going to give you dirty aluminum or aluminum radiator for it, which is not quite a bit of money. It really isn't. Depending on your scrapyard, that may vary. So in turn, I turn this into clean sheet aluminum and clean number 2 copper, or whatever kind of copper you have. I know the solder on there is not going to make it bare bright. Tubing never goes as bare bright at my scrapyard. But anyways, so if you actually cut that solder off of right there, you can turn that into a higher grade and upgrade even more. But as it stands right now, you've already taken a second, you've broken this apart, and you've turned it into a higher grade, which is great because that's how you're going to get more money out of your scrap. That's super nice, and it really is easy. Like I said, you just stand there for a second, heat it up, and it pops off, and you peel those off. For anybody who's taking apart your microwaves, you're going to get those magnetrons, and those guys are going to have sheet aluminum as well. Now, that has its value, and that's good, and it has more value usually than your pop cans. What has the next value? Well, that's going to be the extruded aluminum, at least in my area. And yeah, you'll see stuff like this, and it looks like it was pushed through a die, and it comes out and they hack it off, and there's your chunk of aluminum. More money than your sheet aluminum or your pop cans for sure. That's why it's very important to make sure you take things like this. I know you guys are looking at that, and that's a piece of steel. Well, how do you know it's a piece of steel? You take your magnet and you touch it. It sticks to it, but it doesn't stick there. Well, I tell you what, you leave that on there, this becomes dirty aluminum, and you just downgraded yourself. But if you just take a second and you peel that steel out of there, that becomes a clean piece of extruded aluminum. And I tell you what, they come off pretty easy, and then you have a clean piece of extruded. Again, it was pushed through a die, it was cut off, and there you have it. That's what makes it extruded. Now you're going to come across sheet aluminum again. Yes, this is going to trick you, and you're going to think it looks like extruded for new people, but it's not. It was actually just flat sheet aluminum, and it was pressed into this shape. This gunk off of there, and I put all those guys in its own bag along with stuff like this. And I ask them, hey, this has to be a better grade than your typical run-of-the-mill aluminum. Most of the time they'll agree. You know, if you have a scrapyard that works with you, they'll usually agree that this is worth more money. So they'll give you a little better grade on it. I don't know, you talk to your scrapyard, don't be rude, but make sure you don't take the first answer. Because you go in there, you ask them what they're going to give you for it. They say 10 cents on the pound. You laugh, they laughed, and you really talk about how much they're going to give you for it. But just please, you guys, make sure if you're going to go in there and talk to your scrapyard, get rid of these pieces of steel out of there. Now I'll just take this guy and I'll bring it over to my vise and I'll just punch those little guys out. Some places will give you more for the colored aluminum, and some places will give you less. I've heard both sides. I don't know. Personally, my scrapyard sometimes does and sometimes does not. It just all depends on the market, I guess. And I know you guys are seeing this. And yes, this did not come out of a computer, but it is extruded aluminum. Where did it come from? It came from a level. All your carpenter's levels and everything like that. In fact, your speed squares, they're going to be aluminum too. I come across a lot of them in free piles, and hey, I take out the little bubbles and everything that are inside of there, and it becomes clean aluminum. That again is extruded aluminum, and it is worth quite a bit more at your scrapyard. So yes, we've already upgraded, and we've got a lot more money just by separating and taking the little bits of steel off of there. Some guys will come off a little easier, some guys are not as easy, and some have clips in them, and you just figure it out. You just have a little fun with it. I mean, it's not too hard. There you go. You got clean aluminum. But I tell you what, I've ran into a lot of people lately now that are like, hey, you're that guy. And I'm like, hey, I'm that guy. And they're like, yeah, do you want to come get this? And I'm like, well, yeah. They're like, I tell you what, I'm busy. Why don't I just drop it off? And I'm like, even better. That is a big block of aluminum right there. And in fact, that's going to get kept because we can make stuff out of that. We can have fun with that and stuff. But we're going to throw in the bucket to weigh it up. Anyways, and your video cards, yeah, all your expansion cards and stuff like that, if they got some kind of BGA or they're running a lot of graphics and stuff, you're going to find these heat sinks, and they're going to be on there, and most of the time they're going to be on there with a couple pieces of plastic, and there you go. There is a clean piece of extruded. Well, there's all of our sheet aluminum here. And what do we got? Well, we got, let's see. Well, we're going to go into grams because obviously I can't do kilograms. Let's see. Unit. There, we got 344 grams of sheet aluminum. So you guys figure out the equations for you in your area, but that's what we got while we just stood here. That's only the sheet aluminum. Let's get on to the extruded aluminum. All right, that is 2 kilograms right there, close enough to 2 kilograms. And yeah, that's the back of a hard drive. That will go in the same, because I'm going to melt it. So there's that big guy there. I actually want to see what these two guys weigh. All right, that makes it 2.59 kilograms. I know it's going to take some of that off for that copper, but that's, again, another 2.5 kilograms of aluminum. That comes out to 1.78 pounds. That's right. So, yeah, that was a big score. That was a really good score for nothing more than picking up a piece of plastic out of the street. All right, so here we are. We got these. These are the last guys that we're going to talk about. I do believe they're called anodized aluminum. It's definitely not gold. Don't mix this up with gold. This is just aluminum. But I tell you what, it is extruded. It is kind of nice looking, and my Lovie is going to want those. So these guys are not going to get sold. They're going to go again in some form of artwork for her. But that's okay, because I don't want to get rid of them either. Is it worth taking apart your aluminum heat sinks? Absolutely, sure is for me. You bet your sweet bippy. It took me a minute, but I tell you what, we upgraded from pennies to dollars. That's right. And when you're talking pounds and pounds and pounds of this stuff, those pennies add up. So for all you guys that are learning something new, don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button on your way through the door. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you guys can be notified of all the new videos we have coming out. For all my subscribers, man, you guys are making this crazy YouTube world go round for me. I'm loving it. I'm having a blast. I'm still losing my voice, but I don't care because we're going to still be cranking out these videos. I think we got almost 400 videos in the last 2 months, guys. That's right. That's right. 400 videos. People don't believe me, but you guys do because you guys have been here along the way. So with that being said, my gosh, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. And for my wife, I love you. And for my kids, go wash your face.